India's Voice to the World. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Israel says ceasefire to resume after carrying out dozens of deadly strikes on Hamas positions, accuses Hamas of violating ceasefire. US President Donald Trump says he's not a king a day after millions of people across the United States take to the streets in no king protest, slamming Trump of authoritarianism and unbridled corruption. United States says it hit Colombian rebel vessel as Colombia condemns Trump's accusations against President Gustavo Petro. Trump to announce major tariffs against Colombia. India's Tanvi Sharma secures silver in women's single at Junior Badminton World Championship in Guwahati. And Festival of Lights, Diwali being celebrated in India and abroad. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan and Prime Minister Modi extend Diwali greetings on this occasion. And updates from West Asia first. Israel said it had resumed enforcing a Gaza ceasefire after carrying out dozens of deadly strikes on Hamas positions on Sunday, having accused the group of targeting its troops in the most serious violence since the 9-day-old truce began. Well, the Israeli military said it struck Hamas targets in Gaza, including field commanders, gunmen, a tunnel and weapons depots, after Hamas terrorists launched an anti-tank missile and fired on its troops, killing 2 soldiers. Well, the strikes began on Sunday in response to what the Israeli military said in a statement had been a blatant violation of the ceasefire. The IDF later on Sunday said it had renewed enforcement of the ceasefire but vowed to respond firmly to any violation of it. Also, meanwhile, Israeli security sources said the aid into Gaza was set to resume on Monday following U.S. pressure. Earlier, Israel has closed its crossing points into Gaza to aid convoys, accusing Hamas of breaking a truce. Also, the first phase of the US-brokered ceasefire deal, which started on 10th of October, saw an immediate end to fighting, the partial withdrawal of Israeli troops to a so-called yellow line along the north, east and south of Gaza, and an increase of aid. Hamas has released all living hostages as well as the remains of 12 out of 28 of those deceased. Large crowds of people were seen surrounding the convoy carrying released Israeli hostage Elkanah Bohobot and his family as he returned home on Sunday. Well, Elkanah returned to Israel under a US-brokered plan in which Hamas was supposed to release all 20 hostages still alive and 28 seized captives to Israel. Well, Elkanah Bohobot thanked everyone waiting for him outside his house. As the mass crowd chanted his name, Bohobot recited a prayer thanking God and the people for their unwavering support. Also, families of another released hostage, Eviatar David and Aventon Orr, delivered a statement on Sunday saying their loved ones are well and thanked the public for their support. Eli David, the brother of Eviatar David, said the fight is not over and that they will continue fighting till the last hostage returns. US President Trump's nominee for Ambassador-at-Large for International Religious Freedom, Mark Walker, met freed Israeli hostage Keith Segal and the father of deceased Israeli hostage Itay Chen Ruby Chen in Tel Aviv on Sunday. During the meeting, Walker said he has faith in Trump's administration to keep a close eye on the fragile ceasefire and not let it go sideways. Meanwhile, hundreds gathered in Jerusalem on Sunday to bid farewell to Uriel Baruch, an Israeli hostage whose body was returned to Israel recently. Baruch was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival in southern Israel in October 2023. In March 2024, his family was informed that he was killed on October 7th and his body was held in Gaza. Baruch was returned to Israel on October 14th as part of a US-led ceasefire. And US President Donald Trump said on Sunday that the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas was still in effect after the Israeli military carried out deadly strikes on Gaza over apparent truce violations by Hamas. He also suggested that Hamas leadership was not involved in any alleged breaches and instead blamed some rebels within.
We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas, and as you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved in that. You know, some rebels within. But either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Well, US Vice President J.D. Vance on Sunday said that Gulf Arab states must help enforce security and disarm Hamas if a Gaza truce is to hold. Speaking to media, Vance warned a ceasefire may face hills and valleys in the coming days.
When we talk about Hamas, you're talking about 40 different cells. It's disjointed. Some of those cells will probably honor the ceasefire. Many of those cells, as we saw some evidence of today, will not. Before we actually can ensure that Hamas is properly disarmed, that's going to require, as we know, some of these Gulf Arab states to get forces in there to actually apply some law and order and some security keeping on the ground. So I think it would be kind of absurd for the president to say, well, Hamas is going to be disarmed 3 or 4 days from now. We don't even have the security infrastructure in place, meaning the Gulf Arab states, our allies, don't have the security infrastructure in place yet to confirm that Hamas is disarmed until you actually go a little bit down the path of this peace mission, of this 20-point peace plan. We're not going to be able to say with confidence that everybody is doing everything that we want them to do.
And for more, we have Akshay Dongre joining us. Well, Akshay, given the complexities of the ceasefire agreement and the ongoing violations from both the sides now, what are the key challenges that the international community faces in maintaining this fragile truce? And how do you assess the role of the US in influencing the ceasefire's enforcement?
Well, Lipakshi, problems remain. This is something as we just a few days back predicted as well, that it's not easy to maintain ceasefire between these two arch rivals who are baying for each other's blood just few days back, and they have been doing that for years now. So as far as Hamas is concerned, there are always going to be factions within that will oppose the kind of ceasefire agreements that it has agreed to, the ceasefire conditions that it has agreed to. Whereas Israel, there are going to be similar kind of hatred towards Hamas in the IDF factions as well as in the Israeli government, especially when we talk about the far right that have been calling for stopping of action against Hamas till the time they are completely disarmed and in fact destroyed. So the international community faces a risk of putting pressure on both of these to ensure that the war does not continue and it does not, in fact, escalate from this region to different parts of the region as far as Middle East is concerned, because it still is quite a sensitive zone. We have seen repeated escalation of the conflicts, and still the kind of repeated ceasefires that have been done so far have not lasted for more than a few hours, and this one for a few days. And even though US president says that ceasefire is still in place, but Israeli defense forces taking action against Hamas in Gaza, there are allegations that Hamas was involved in killing of Israelis in the Rafah incident few days back. So it's a continuous trust building challenge for the rest of the world to ensure that these two actually stick to the agreement that they have made as far as peace is concerned, and to give peace a chance by both the sides. And if not, both of them, either of them who violates it faces pressure from the world community as well as humanitarian organizations as well.
All right. Also, Akshay, there's a lot of course, worry about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. How do you see the resumption of aid into there and under U.S. pressure, especially affecting the humanitarian situation on the ground? And do you think it will have any impact on the dynamics of the ceasefire or future peace talks?
Well, it is all speculative at this point in time, Lipakshi, because what we know so far is that ceasefires have not worked. What we know that they have been repeatedly violated, and innocent people have suffered. So Israel also is using humanitarian aid as sort of a bargaining chip for making Hamas accept its demands. There has to be a line between combatants and non-combatants as far as people are concerned who have lost their homes in the IDF operations, who have lost their everything and are now facing poverty, facing starvation, where children are dying, falling sick, and having life-changing diseases there because of lack of enough nutrients and enough food for them should be made clear, because war should not be made a humanitarian crisis by using of humanitarian aid as a bargaining chip.
Also, Akshay, what do you think are the challenges the Gulf Arab states may face in helping enforce security and disarm Hamas? And how realistic is Vice President J.D. Vance's call for the involvement in ensuring the Gaza ceasefire holds?
Well, yes, there is some involvement. Obviously, we have seen involvement of Qatar, involvement of other countries that have tried to, make statements. But beyond that, there is not much because most of the, support for the Israel is coming in from the US, from the Western allies of US, whereas the support for Hamas has been limited, but it has come from the Arab states, and they already have been pressurizing Hamas into signing of the ceasefire. Because the war, when it escalated, it is going to escalate to their regions as well in the West Asian countries. So it's everything is speculative at this point in time, because every party almost has repeatedly failed to bring any solution to this conflict.
All right, so a lot of speculations yet, and we're yet to see what happens next. Thank you so much, Akshay, for all those details. And in a Fox News interview with American journalist Maria Bartiromo, US President Donald Trump asserted, "I'm not a king," following massive No Kings protest where millions rallied against his perceived authoritarianism and corruption. The third wave of such a protest since his January 2025 inauguration. There has been friction between the citizens and the administration. In over 10 months, the Trump administration has escalated immigration enforcement with mass deportations, reassigning thousands of federal agents and boosting funding by $170 billion amid record immigration and custom enforcement detainee deaths. It slashed 4,200 federal jobs and cut over $1.3 billion federal government funding to institutions like Harvard, UCLA and Columbia over pro-Palestinian protest. While on trade, Trump reimposed 100% tariffs, equating to around 155 to 157%, retaliating against China's rare earth controls. And the United States says it hit Colombian rebel vessel. US President Donald Trump called Colombian President Gustavo Petro an illegal drug leader and said payments to the South American nation would cease, while Defense Secretary Hicks said US forces had hit a vessel associated with a Colombian rebel group. Now, Trump's comments marked a new low in relations between Bogota and Washington since his administration launched a series of strikes on vessels allegedly transporting drugs in the Caribbean. Also, the US president said that the United States would stop large-scale payments and subsidies to Colombia. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham hinted that Trump will soon announce major tariffs on the country. Colombian President Petro called Trump's remark rude and ignorant. Colombia's foreign ministry condemned Trump's remarks as offensive and a direct threat to its sovereignty and vowed to seek international support in defense of Petro and the country's autonomy. Meanwhile, Colombia's defense minister Pedro Sanchez defended Petro, stating that Colombia has intensified its own offensive on drugs in the past year.
Any statement made against the President of the Republic describing him in those terms is disrespectful to Colombia. he's democratically elected president of Colombians, and as a Minister of Defense, I can fully attest to all his efforts to neutralize drug trafficking.
And still to come in DD India News Now. Bolivians elect a pro-business center-right Senator Rodrigo Paz, marking end of 2 decades of socialist rule amid economic crisis. Moderate Tufan Erherman triumphs in Turkey's Cypriot presidential election, paving the way for renewed peace talks. And cargo plane skids off runway into sea at Hong Kong airport, 2 dead in tragic accident.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. And moving on, US Vice President J.D. Vance told reporters that President Donald Trump has not yet made a decision on whether to provide Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles. Trump pushed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to give up swaths of territory to Russia during a tense meeting on Friday, and that left the Ukrainian delegation disappointed. Trump also declined to provide Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine's use and mused about giving security guarantees to both Kyiv and Moscow, comments that the Ukrainian delegation found confusing. Vance said Trump is trying to bring peace, and that is what is in America's best interest.
What was the calculation in not providing those Tomahawks to Ukraine at this time?
Well, look, the President of the United States is trying to ensure that America's security is taken care of first, and obviously that means that we need to have the critical weapon systems for our own military, for our own troops. So that's what the President is focused on. And as with all the decisions that he's made related to Russia and Ukraine, he's trying to bring peace because he thinks that's what's in America's best interest. If he thinks that it's in America's best interest to sell additional weapons to Europe, he will do that. But right now, he hasn't made that decision with regards to Tomahawks.
Well, French President Emmanuel Macron said on Sunday that the robbery at Paris Louvre Museum was an attack on the French heritage. In a social media post, Macron vowed to recover all the stolen artifacts and bring the perpetrators to justice. The Louvre Museum in the French capital has closed for exceptional reasons after a group of intruders successfully stole 8 pieces of priceless jewelry in a quick-hit heist that has rocked the world's most visited museum. Well, a manhunt for the thieves was underway in Paris as police cordoned off the museum, famously home to Leonardo da Vinci's painting Mona Lisa, with tape and armed soldiers patrolled its iconic glass pyramid entrance. And Bolivians on Sunday elected a pro-business center-right senator as their new president. It ended 2 decades of socialist rule that have left the South American nation deep in economic crisis. Well, the Supreme Electoral Tribunal said with 97% of ballots counted, Rodrigo Paz had 54.5% of the vote compared to interim president Jorge Teuto Quiroga, who got 45.4%. Paz, the 58-year-old son of a former president, has vowed a capitalism-for-all approach to economic reform with the decentralization, lower taxes and fiscal discipline mixed with continued social spending. Sunday's election closes out an economic experiment marked by initial prosperity funded by Moral's nationalization of gas reserves. Paz will not have a party majority in Congress, meaning he will need to make concessions to get laws passed. Outside of Congress, the new president will also face stiff opposition from Morales, who remains popular especially among indigenous Bolivians, but was constitutionally barred from seeking another term. And a moderate candidate won Turkish Cypriot presidential elections on Sunday, defeating a hardliner in a pivotal vote that could help revive stalled UN talks on reunifying Cyprus. Centre-left politician Tufan Ahurman sailed to victory with 68.8% of the votes, defeating incumbent Ersin Tatar. Ahurman, a lawyer, has pledged to explore a federal solution long supported by the United Nations to end the island's nearly 50-year division. Tatar and Turkey, the only country which recognizes breakaway North Cyprus, had backed a two-state policy which has been ruled out by Greek Cypriots. Tatar, who came to power in 2020, received 35.8% of the vote. And the UN's office in Yemen said on Sunday that Houthi rebels were still holding 20 of its staff following their raid on the organization's building in Sana'a a day earlier. In fact, the UN office said Houthi security forces had made an unauthorized entry into its compound. The UN was in touch with authorities in Sana'a, with the relevant member states and the government of Yemen to resolve this serious situation as swiftly as possible and end the detention of all personnel and restore full control over its facilities in Sana'a. UNICEF's representative in Yemen, Peter Hawkins, was among those detained. Two Houthi security sources confirmed that Hawkins was among those being held. And Britain's embattled Prince Andrew was flashed on the front pages of the country's newspapers on Sunday in the second day of negative headlines after he was forced to give up his Duke of York title. Well, Prince Andrew asked police in 2011 to dig up personal information about Virginia Gioffer, the woman who accused him of sexually abusing her as a teenager, a British newspaper reported on Sunday. Well, Andrew, the younger brother of King Charles, said on Friday he would no longer use this title following years of criticism about his behavior and connections to Jeffrey Epstein. He said the accusations were a distraction from the work of the king and the royals. Sunday's report, however, suggests the move has failed to contain the scandal. And two people were killed after a cargo plane landing in Hong Kong allegedly collided with a ground vehicle and slid off the runway into the sea before dawn on Monday. Hong Kong Civil Aviation Department said that the cargo plane arriving from the United Arab Emirates deviated from the north runway after landing and ditched into the sea. Preliminary information indicates that the 4 crew members on board were rescued and sent to hospital, while 2 ground staff were affected and fell into the sea. The plane is thought to have struck a ground vehicle, which also fell into the sea. The airport authorities said that the flights at Hong Kong International Airport will not be affected, though the north runway was temporarily closed while the other 2 runways remain operational. And Japan's Liberal Democratic Party and the Japan Innovation Party have effectively agreed to form a coalition government. According to Japan's public broadcaster, NHK, LDP chief Sane Takaichi and Hirofumi Yoshimura, head of the smaller right-leaning party known as Ishin, spoke via phone on Monday morning and effectively reached an agreement. The 2 leaders will formally establish the coalition by signing an agreement on Monday night, NHK reported. And South Korea's Jeongju gears up for the APEC summit from October 31st to November 1st amid uncertainty over US President Donald Trump's attendance following South Korea's political turmoil with Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment and Lee Jae-myung's leadership. Well, despite this, Trump is slated to visit Seoul October 29 to 30th with a potential Xi Jinping meeting to address escalating trade tensions, including Trump's 100% tariff threat and China's rare earth curbs. And the former French President Nicolas Sarkozy will go to prison on Tuesday after a court sentenced him to 5 years for criminal conspiracy over a scheme to obtain election campaign funds from the regime of the late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. The former state leader, who has appealed the verdict and denounced an injustice, is to be incarcerated in the Parisian prison of La Santé. Sarkozy, who was the right-wing president of France between 2007 and 2012, will become the first former head of an EU member country to serve time in prison and the first French post-war leader to be jailed. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. The South Korean capital, Seoul, is getting ready for part of this year's APEC summit. Located in Northeast Asia, South Korea has transformed itself into a global economic and cultural powerhouse. Home to over 51 million people, the country boasts one of the world's most densely populated cities, Seoul, a hub of technology, pop culture and commerce. In Venezuela, the faithful came together in Caracas to celebrate the canonization of a local doctor named Jose Gregorio Hernandez. He was known for treating the poor during the Spanish flu pandemic a century ago, and Mother Carmen Rendiles, who was known for a life of devotion to religion. The Chilean capital, Santiago City, hosted the 2025 Zombie Walk on Sunday. Under the motto, Monsters Gather to Celebrate, participants put their creativity to work to craft horror-inspired outfits. This year, the parade paid tribute to a Chilean horror icon, the sinister Dr. Mortis, a character created in 1945 for radio drama, according to the Chilean government. In Switzerland, 9 women raced their cows through an alpine course in the Swiss Cow Grand Prix. They competed for prizes like a big sack of feed, a cow bell and flowers. It's a fun and unique race full of tradition and excitement. Well, India's temple town of Ayodhya is glowing as Deepotsav 2025 celebrations continue with full grandeur. Deepotsav 2025 created new Guinness World Record with 2.6 million diyas illuminating 56 ghats across the banks of river Saryu. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the festival of Deepotsav has become a defining identity of northern state of Uttar Pradesh. Take a look.
Ayodhya is immersed in divine glow, marking the 9th edition of Deepotsav on Sunday, with the temple town creating another Guinness World Record by lighting over 2.6 million diyas across 56 banks of Saryu River.
Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to officially announce that both titles have been broken and this display is officially amazing. Yesterday, 2,128 deer rotations were counted simultaneously, and today, 26,17,215 oil lamps. So congratulations, you are officially amazing.
Themed Ayodhya, city of light and devotion, the ghats were adorned with diya-shaped lights. A major attraction was the 32 feet Pushpak Viman at Ram Ki Pairi, showcasing scenes from the sacred Ramayana. State Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath led the Deepotsav celebrations in Ayodhya with 33,000 volunteers. He lauded the efforts of people of the state.
दीपोत्सव के इस कार्यक्रम को उत्तर प्रदेश की पहचान बनाने के लिए उत्तर प्रदेश के नौजवानों के सामने, उत्तर प्रदेश के नागरिकों के सामने पहचान का संकट न खड़ा हो और कोई भी उनकी आस्था के साथ खिलवाड़ करने का दुस्साहस न कर सके। इसीलिए उत्तर प्रदेश में डबल इंजन की सरकार बनने के बाद से हम लोगों ने लगातार उस प्रकार के प्रयास प्रारंभ किए हैं।
The event showcased Ayodhya's rich culture and devotion, drew massive crowds and significantly boosted tourism. Bureau Report, DD India.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. Sacred Buddha relics return to India from Russia's Kalmykia, strengthening spiritual ties and India-Russia relations. India congratulates Justice Pratibha M. Singh on her appointment as chair of World Intellectual Property Organization's Advisory Board of Judges. And the world is glittering as Diwali is being celebrated with full fervour and sparkle everywhere. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Israel says ceasefire to resume after carrying out dozens of deadly strikes on Hamas positions, accuses Hamas of violating ceasefire. US President Donald Trump says he's not a king a day after millions of people across the United States take to the streets in No King protest, slamming Trump of authoritarianism and unbridled corruption. United States says it hit Colombian rebel vessel as Colombia condemns Trump's accusations against President Gustavo Petro. Trump to announce major tariffs against Colombia. India's Tanvi Sharma secures silver in women's single at Junior Badminton World Championship in Guwahati. And Festival of Lights, Diwali being celebrated in India and abroad. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan and Prime Minister Modi extend Diwali greetings on this occasion. And moving on, India, the United Nations on Sunday congratulated Justice Pratibha M. Singh of Delhi High Court, who has been appointed as chair of the World Intellectual Property Organization's Advisory Board of Judges. Well, in a social media post, India's permanent mission in UN Geneva stated that, and I quote, "A proud moment for India. Justice Pratibha M. Singh of Delhi High Court, appointed as chair of the World Intellectual Property Organization's Advisory Board of Judges. As chair, she leads a group of international judges, providing guidance and direction to WIPO's work with judiciaries in the field of IP." And the sacred relics of Lord Buddha returned from Russia's Kalmykia to New Delhi. The exposition served as a spiritual bridge between the two nations, strengthened ties and revived historical Buddhist links. Well, the relics were brought back to India by the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha. The exposition of sacred relics of Lord Buddha from India drew an unprecedented response with nearly 100,000 devotees paying their reverent homage to the relics, enshrined at the iconic monastery, popularly known as the Golden Abode of Shakyamuni Buddha. An emotional farewell ceremony for the Buddha's sacred relics were held in Alista. And Diwali, the festival of light, is being celebrated across India and abroad with immense joy, devotion and togetherness. The festival marks Lord Ram's return to Ayodhya and the triumph of good over evil. President Draupadi Murmu has extended greetings to her fellow citizens on the eve of Diwali. In a message, the President said, and I quote, "Diwali, one of India's most popular festivals, is celebrated with great zeal and enthusiasm. The festival symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance, and good over evil. Celebrated across the country with immense fervour, the auspicious occasion of Diwali gives the message of mutual affection and brotherhood. On this day, devotees worship Goddess Lakshmi, the deity of wealth and prosperity. This festival of joy is also an occasion for self-reflection and self-improvement. This festival is also an opportunity to help and support the deprived and the needy and to bring joy into their lives. I urge everyone to celebrate Diwali safely, responsibly, and in an environment-friendly manner. May this Diwali bring happiness, peace, and prosperity to all, unquote. The Vice President of India, C.P. Radhakrishnan, has greeted the people on the auspicious occasion of Diwali. In a message, Vice President said that Diwali celebrates the triumph of goodness over evil and knowledge over ignorance. He said Diwali is a time when the values of generosity, charity and inclusivity, deeply ingrained in our civilizational ethos, shine forth as we share and extend our support to the needy and underprivileged sections of the society. He further said that as we celebrate Diwali, we must all shun negativity and adharma and embrace positivity and dharma, not only for our individual good but also for the overall progress of the nation. The Vice President added that akin to the diyas lit in every home collectively illuminating the night skies on this festival, our dedication and commitment should together usher in collective growth for Bharat. And Prime Minister Modi, in a social media post on X, greeted the citizens on the festive occasion of Diwali, the Festival of Lights. Prime Minister in the post hoped that this Festival of Lights illuminate our lives with harmony, happiness and prosperity, and may the spirit of positivity prevail all around us. Prime Minister urged the citizens to mark this festive season by celebrating the hard work, creativity and innovation of 140 crore Indians and buy Indian products and say, "Gar se kaho, ye swadeshi hai." Well, as Diwali illuminates India and the world with vibrant lights and heartfelt traditions, artisans breathe life into the festival's spirit. From glowing diyas to intricate rangolis and delectable sweets, their craftsmanship celebrate heritage and community. DD India's Antra Sinha gets you more in this special report.
Diwali, the festival of lights. It isn't just a celebration. It's a tapestry woven carefully by each and every artisan that puts their heart, mind and soul into each and every creation. In this presentation, let's dive into the lives of artisans who make this festival as magical as it is.
The festival of Diwali is a time when every corner sparkles with joy, tradition and creativity. Diwali is celebrated by millions across India and globally. It is a time of light, love and renewal. At its heart are the artisans, the gifted craftspeople who pour their passion into crafting the cherished symbols of Diwali, embodying the spirit of vocal for local by showcasing India's rich heritage through their art. From the vibrant rangoli patterns that dance across doorsteps to the delicate diyas that cast a warm golden glow in homes, each creation tells a story of artistry and tradition.
Every diya, every sweet, every rangoli is a testament to India's artisans, the backbone of Diwali. We are celebrating these artisans today.
These artisans don't merely craft objects, they breathe life into centuries-old practices. Every swirl of paint, every molded piece of clay is a labor of love that connects families and communities during Diwali.
दिवाली का फेस्टिवल के लिए हमारे पास सारे मोम के दिए लक्ष्मी गणेश कलकत्ता से और लखनऊ से आगरा से सारी जगह हमारे बेस्ट अच्छे कारीगर बैठे हुए हैं. हम वहाँ से माल लेकर आते हैं.
इसको बनाने में लाइक जैसे 2 या फिर 4 आवर्स लग जाते हैं इसको बनाने में, क्योंकि पहले ये पेंट होता है, फेस पे मतलब बहुत से ऐसे काम वाम होते हैं, जैसे पीछे हो रहा है गोल्डन वगैरह कर रहे हैं इस पे ब्रश के हेल्प से।
आजकल लोग दिए नहीं, घर के लिए सजावट के लिए भी सब सामान लेते हैं, तो अच्छा लगता है। हमारी मेहनत भी होती है उसमें, हमारे को अच्छा भी लगता है कि लोगों को भी पसंद आती है।
And it's not just diyas. Rangoli artists bring flows to life with bursts of color, while sweet makers craft delectable treats like laddus and jalebis that make Diwali extra sweet.
हर साल आते हैं, लेके जाते हैं यहाँ से खूब सामान, अच्छा मिलता है सामान, हर साल नए नए देखने को मिलता है।
यही आइटम आप अगर मॉल्स और उसमें लेने जाएंगे, जो आइटम यहाँ पर आपको अवेलेबल 200-250 मैक्सिमम 500 रेंज का मिलेगा, और वहाँ पर जाके वही आइटम जो है 5000 तक भी जा सकता है।
These tireless potters, painters and confectioners are the unsung heroes behind Diwali's brilliance. Their handcrafted treasures, a vibrant reminder of the beauty of community, creativity and the Vocal for Local movement that honors India's artisanal legacy.
This Diwali, as you celebrate with your loved ones, share sweets with your loved ones, decorate your homes with diyas and rangolis, let's take a moment to celebrate each and every artisan that makes this festival even more special. A very happy Diwali to all of you. With camera person Vinod Ocha, this is Antara Sinha for DD India.
And all across India, homes and streets were glowing on the eve of Diwali as people celebrate the festival of lights. From bedazzling diyas and colourful rangolis to sweets and fireworks, the spirit of joy and togetherness shines bright everywhere. Here's how different cities are lighting up this beautiful night. Uttar Pradesh lights up with grand Diwali celebrations, from lamp lighting at Sri Krishna Janambhoomi in Mathura to colourful displays at Sri Ram Janambhoomi in Ayodhya. Sitapur and Aligarh join in with record diyas and first ever campus festivities, spreading joy and unity across the state. In Gujarat's Gandhinagar, the Swaminarayan Akshardham temple is dazzling this Diwali. With over 10,000 lamps lighting up the temple grounds, visitors enjoy the vibrant decorations and nightly water shows celebrating spirituality and unity. In Madhya Pradesh, banks of the Narmada River in Jabalpur were beautifully illuminated with countless diyas, creating a mesmerizing scene this Diwali. Rajasthan dazzles this Diwali as cities shine with festive lights and creativity. In Udaipur, an Operation Sindoor themed blends patriotism with celebration, while Jodhpur glows with vibrant decorations and joyful gatherings, spreading the true spirit of Diwali across the state. Across Tamil Nadu, homes and streets sparkle with diyas and festive cheer as families celebrate the triumph of light over darkness. Markets buzz with colour and joy, while the spirit of togetherness and hope shines brightly throughout the state. Well, Kolkata is all aglow as the city prepares for Diwali and Kali Puja celebrations. The Marwari Sanskriti Manch has beautifully lit up the city with its annual Deepavali Mahotsav, honouring tradition and spreading festive cheer. Communities come together, lighting lamps and embracing the spirit of unity and devotion across the city. In Maharashtra's Dhule, the Swaminarayan temple was beautifully illuminated with 3,000 diyas during a grand Maha Aarti, symbolizing the triumph of light over darkness. Devotees also prayed for knowledge, peace and universal happiness. And the Indian Army celebrated Diwali with enthusiasm, lighting earthen lamps, bursting firecrackers and offering prayers. Indian Army soldiers celebrated Diwali on Sunday in the Akhnur region along the line of control by bursting firecrackers and lighting earthen lamps. Along with the festive celebrations, the officers also offered prayers to mark the occasion. In Jammu and Kashmir's T12 region, Indian Army officers stationed at Azmat-e-Hind celebrated Diwali with locals spreading joy, laughter and festive cheer in the remote border areas. Well, the troops of the Border Security Force marked the festival at the Atari border in Amritsar, Punjab. The celebrations began with prayers at a local temple and continued with fireworks and traditional rituals. Meanwhile, Border Security Force personnel celebrated Diwali along the border in Jaisalmer with crackers, candles and earthen lamps, fostering a strong sense of unity. Indian Army celebrations at the border symbolizes their commitment to ensuring peace and security for citizens across the country. Well, across South Africa, Indian and South African Indian communities are celebrating Diwali, the festival of lights with color, culture and togetherness. Let's take a look.
As twilight falls, lamps are flickering with light, carrying with it promises, prayers and timeless hope. It's Diwali, the festival of lights, and across South Africa, hearts, homes and temples are shining with celebration. From families lighting diyas to communities sharing festive meals, the spirit of Diwali brings people together, reminding all that light will always triumph over darkness. For Indians in South Africa, this is more than a festival. It's a living link to their heritage, a celebration of identity that blends ancient tradition with South Africa's vibrant multicultural spirit. Temples, homes and community centers echo with music, laughter, the scent of freshly made sweets, while the skies are lit up. All symbols of renewal, gratitude and togetherness. Whether through prayer, reflection or simple acts of kindness, Diwali continues to remind us that light is not just what we see, it's what we share.
Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram to one and all. On behalf of Shri Radheshyam Mandir and South African Hindu community, I wish all the Hindus happy Diwali and prosperous New Year 2082. May Bhagavan bless you, guide you, protect you, and there will be a peace in the world. The whole year gone through with so much difficulties in the world. In this auspicious day, we pray that all the people find happiness, joy, good health and long life. And as like the jyoti of the lamp, the guidance from the lamp as like a tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, all the people bless and happy Diwali from South Africa.
May every lamp of Diwali continue to inspire peace. May every light spark love. And may our shared humanity continue to shine the brightest. For DD India, South Africa, I'm Nazneen. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Well, the festival of lights, Diwali, is spreading its warmth and sparkle far beyond India. The Indian community in Paris is also embracing the festive spirit with great enthusiasm and joy. Here's a report by DD India correspondent Rohini Gosavi.
With the labels of City of Love, City of Romance, Paris is also known as City of Light. And it even shines brighter when Indian diaspora here celebrates its festival of light, Diwali. Far from our land, but surrounded by our chosen family, Indians celebrate Diwali with same joy, warmth and love. Let's have a look.
The drum beats, sweet field shops, bright mehendi colors and joyful dances. That's the spirit of Diwali in Paris. The Indian community celebrates with songs, dances and cultural programs. The festival brings everyone together, spreading joy and feeling of togetherness far from home. Maharashtra Mandal France has organized this Diwali evening to bring the community together and keep the festive spirit alive. The event features Bollywood dances, folk performances and musical shows that fill the evening with vibrance, rhythm and festive spirit.
It's a melting pot of different culture and we showcase Indian culture to other people, to other communities, and especially as we are far from India, that helps Indian community connect with India.
The children's play brought smiles and nostalgic memories for everyone in the audience. For Indian parents, it's a joyful way to introduce their little ones to traditions, keeping them connected to their cultural roots.
I think it's really beneficial to the children who are growing up here because to them it's very difficult to create this whole atmosphere. So when the association does it, many families come together. It's an unbelievable occasion for them to discover their own culture, to know their roots.
Events like Anand Bazaar and Festive Fair attracts huge crowds where members display homemade sweets, traditional items, and Diwali themed products, turning the space into mini India.
Diwali festival over here, it gives us an opportunity to come together and follow our tradition, our culture here in France, so far away from our country.
Just like India, streets of Paris also sparkles with festive vibes during Diwali. Indian stores and supermarkets are stacked with colorful decorations, sparkling diyas and mouth-watering sweets. Families line up to buy laddus, burfis and namkeens, the familiar flavor of home that makes celebration complete. The cheerful crowd reflects how the Indian spirit shines bright even thousands of miles away.
That our shop is full of Indian crowd is coming to our shop. That lot of people is coming from very far also they are coming from to our shop.
Diwali holds a special place in every Indian's heart, no matter where they live. The festival brings back memories of home, family and tradition, spreading joy, culture and connection beyond borders. This is Rohini Goswami in Paris for DD India.
Well, as Diwali cast its golden glow across the globe, Canada is also no exception, lighting up with celebration, community and colour. From the heart of Toronto to the vibrant suburbs of Brampton and Mississauga, Diwali festivities brought thousands together in a joyous display of culture and unity. Our correspondent Tarun Paul Singh reports from Toronto.
दियों की लौ से हर दम मिट जाता, रंगोली के रंगों से उत्सव मुस्कुराता, अपनों से दूर पर दिल में है साथ, जहां भी हो मिलकर मनाएं दिवाली का त्योहार. Toronto's skyline glowed brilliantly as annual Diwali Festival of Lights illuminated Nathan Phillips Square. Thousands packed the square of what has become Canada's biggest Diwali celebration, turning the heat of downtown into a mosaic of lights, colors and joy. The two-day celebration, timed with Canada's Thanksgiving weekend, brought together culture, cuisine, community in a grand show of South Asian heritage. The stage came alive with a spectacular lineup of live performances, from classical Indian dances like Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Garba and Odissi to Diwali-themed skits and storytelling, all highlighting the festival enduring the message of light and unity. Off stage, the festival offered the feast of senses. The bustling open-air bazaar features stalls serving up spicy chaat and sizzling samosas, alongside booths selling traditional attire and ornaments, and dedicated kids zone kept families entertained with games and activities. Many paused to admire the intricate rangoli designs spread across the square. Vibrant mosaics of colored powder laid out the welcome prosperity. Among the VIP guests was Bollywood own Farah Khan, who brought a dash of Mumbai glamour to Toronto festivities. The famed choreographer-director mingled with the crowd and even took the stage to lead a dance. Mayor Chow's enthusiastic participation underscored the strong civic spirit of the multicultural celebration. People from all backgrounds, families, young professionals and seniors of all ethnicities reveled together, embodying the multicultural harmony that defines Canada. The festival inclusive atmosphere with local officials and community leaders joining in, highlighting how Diwali has become a beloved fixture on the Canadian culture calendar.
The grandeur and the way the Dil se all celebrate Diwali and the Dil se all celebrate India. So thank you for that.
The best Diwali performance she has seen. Coming from her, it means a lot. Thank you so much, Paraji, for gracing us, visiting us in Toronto. Toronto will always remember you. And thank you everyone for joining. Happy Diwali, best wishes, and see you again next year. Thank you.
In a show-stopping finale night, fireworks burst from the rooftop of City Hall and surrounding towers, synchronized to music and filling downtown Toronto with radiant color. Spectators were left in awe as the sky exploded and symphony of light. As Diwali Day approaches, the Indian diaspora in Canada is proving that Festival of Lights truly transcends border. Even far from the homeland, they keep on flame of tradition burning bright, sharing the Diwali spirit of hope, unity, and goodwill with your fellow Canadians. Tarun Paul Singh from Toronto.
Well, the Festival of Lights has arrived and Dubai is aglow with joy and celebration as residents and visitors mark Diwali with traditional fervour and cultural vibrancy. Streets, markets and landmarks across the city have come alive with lights, music and festive decor, capturing the sense of the Indian festival that symbolises the triumph of light over darkness. In Dubai, fondly known as Mini India, rows of traditional lamps and shimmering decorations adorn shop fronts and buildings, creating a festive spectacle. Local stores are witnessing brisk business as shoppers pick up ethnic wear, jewellery, sweets and handcrafted decor items. Gold markets have also reported a surge in visitors following Dhanteras, the auspicious day for purchasing precious metals.
नहीं है, बहुत साल से हम लोग बेच रहे हैं, अच्छा चल रहा है। ये फ्लावर है ना, फ्लावर पार्दू में किधर भी नहीं मिलेगा हमारे पास सब मिलेगा। देखो लोटस है, अच्छा वाला मोगरा है और मैरीगोल्ड अच्छा वाला, देखो एकदम अच्छा वाला मैरीगोल्ड है। लाइट भी डालते हैं हम लोग, साल लाइट भी डालते हैं।
While fireworks remain tightly regulated across the UAE, designated areas such as Dubai Creek and Global Village are hosting official displays this evening, promising a safe yet spectacular visual treat for the public. In Abu Dhabi, the Babs Hindu Mandir is at the heart of the festivities, welcoming devotees for special Diwali prayers and rituals. The temple remains open exclusively for celebrations today, allowing visitors to offer prayers and partake in cultural activities. Blending tradition with Dubai's cosmopolitan flair, this year's Diwali once again reflects the Emirate's spirit of unity and inclusivity. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here at DD India. A very happy Diwali to all of you.